everyone. The world that we are living in is changing dramatically every day. So that's the language. Maybe 10 to 20% of the words in the textbooks are no longer in use. Instead, there are new words being created every day. For example, people are start talking about hashtags and emojis after the social media was invented. On the other hand, maybe someone famous accidentally said something make no sense, but other people find that was interesting and make it into a trend. So today's talk, I'm going to introduce you some new changes about the Chinese Mandarin. And also, I would like to introduce you some cultural insights behind the new words. So let's get started. We all know that each Chinese character has one pinyin, and each pinyin has three parts. They are the initials, the finals, and the tone marks. However, do you know that in Chinese we have over 85,000 of Chinese characters? And with only 21 initials, 36 final, and 4 tones, there is no way to give each character one individual sound. Instead, many characters sharing the same pinyin. Therefore, it lays the perfect foundation to play with the homophones. So the first thing for today, we are going to see some interesting observations in Mandarin for the homophones. The first one will be the loan word. Do you know that if you put a loan word in the Chinese dictionary app, Pleco, there will be over 500 results. Those loan words, some of them coming from Korean, some from Japanese, and many more comes from English. For example, the Korean word oba means older brother. Nowadays in China, many people love Korean soap opera. So that's why we took oba from Korean and we make this new word, oba, in Chinese. And when we are joking with our friends, we can say, look, there's a handsome oba over there. Also, there are oba-san, zhengtai. Those words are coming from Japanese. And 粉丝, which means fans in English. 爱豆, it's idol in English. 血拼 sounds like shopping in English. And 播客, which comes from podcast. Great. The second one will be the typographical error. When we are texting our friends, it will be hard to avoid making typo mistakes. And some of those mistakes are so cute that we decide to maintain them in daily life. For example, classmates in Chinese is 同学, but it's easily to be typed wrong as 同鞋, which means the children's shoes. So each time when we are talking to our classmates, we may start addressing our classmates as, hey, my children's shoes. In this way, the text will become more funny and it can show some characters of the speaker. Another example is 小朋友, which is the way we address the children when we talk to them. And 朋 is easily to be typed as 小朋友, and 盆 in Chinese means the basin. So instead of, hey, this little friend, we may say this little friend with basin on top of the head. Also sounds more cute and more interesting. Also, 什么 means what, but easily to type as 神马. 神马 means gourd and horse, and it sounds more dramatic when we ask our friend, 你说神马? What are you talking about? Very good. Sometimes we also use the homophones to purposely making some jokes or form some internet slang. For example, 外国人 in Chinese is a foreigner. However, it's too direct, too formal. We like to keep the pinyin but change some characters, and we are purposely type it wrong as the crooked nuts, 歪果人. Maybe nuts in English sounds not so good, but in Chinese there's no bad meaning at all. And this is just a cute nickname, and it will be sounds more friendly with 外国人 than 外国人. Another example is 大可不必, which is a Chinese idiom, means not necessary at all. The first two pinyin 大可 sounds like the English word duck. Therefore, when we are typing, we just write 大可不必 instead of the characters. In this way, it will be more interesting and more fun to chat with our friends. 研究生 in Chinese is the graduate student. The graduate student in China is very hardworking, so therefore we change the 生 to the character 僧, and the 僧 in Chinese means monk. So instead of a graduate student, they becomes to the research monk. The next example will be programmer, 程序员. The Chinese programmer, some of them have to live a very tough life, have to work 9 hours for 6 days, 996. So therefore, we change this 员, the personnel, to the other character 猿, which means monkey. So instead of programmer, the new word becomes to the code monkey. Maybe some of you find, this is very offensive, all those new concepts, new words. But no, this is, to us, it's just a way to make a joke, maybe make fun of ourselves, or just to be more funny and more humorous when we are chatting with our friend. The third one will be the words influenced by dialect. As you know that there are so many dialects in China, and our Mandarin is strongly influenced by the dialect. But what's most interesting is that we can totally transfer the speaking way into the text and make it reading more fun and interesting. For example, the people from Guangxi, Anhui, Hubei, Hunan province, they can hardly differentiate the initial n and l. Therefore, when we are typing, for example, 难受 in Chinese means sad, and we are purposely typing it as 蓝瘦. And 蓝瘦, which in the character literal translation is blue and thin. But when we see the character 蓝瘦, so this will be a cute way to say I'm sad, but not real sad. We all know the Taiwanese accent is very gentle and soft. Therefore, when we are typing with our friends, we are purposely exaggerate Taiwanese accent to make it sound more cute. For example, 这样子 means this is why. And when we say it really fast, it can be 这样子, 这样子. And then we converted 这样子 into character. It will looks like this. The sauce plus purple. 这样子. Another example is 你知道吗? If we say, do you know it? 你知道吗? Very quickly, it will turn into 你知道吗? 你知道吗? And into character, it will look like this. 你知道吗? 你知道吗? Another example is that in Sichuan Hubei accent, or in Hokkien and Cantonese, 哥 sounds like 郭. For example, 帅哥, the handsome boy, when we typing, it becomes to 帅锅, and 锅 means pot. So it sounds like the handsome pot in text message. Next one, the Hokkien speaker can hardly differentiate hu and f. Therefore, 飞机, it sounds like 灰机. 灰机 means green machine. And 喜欢 sounds like 稀饭, which is porridge in characters. Those type of homophones is used in everyday life text message. The first one will be the numerical homophones. As you can see that 520 520, it sounds really similar like 我爱你, which means I love you in Chinese. And in our culture, we are not very verbally express our love. So we use this number when we try to tell our partner that I love you. So we use 520 instead of 我爱你. And 520 1314, that sounds similar like 我爱你一生一世. And 一生一世 means all my life. So together means I will love you with all my life. The next one will be 666, 666. I know in many cultures, 666, it's a very unlucky number since it's related to devil. However, 6 has exactly same sound as this character, and this 6 means awesome and fabulous. So when we say 666, 666, that actually means that everything will as you wished for. You want to do something and your dream will become true. So we even have this popular emoji in Chinese WeChat, and we sending this emoji all the time to say awesome 666. Another interesting one is for 3Q. 3 in Chinese, it's 3. So 3Q, which has the same sound as thank you in English. So when we try to say thank you to someone, we can just tap 3Q. Very good. The next homophones is subtle replacement. That is to say, we replace one character in a word with another character with exactly the same pinyin to give the new word's meaning a subtle message. For example, we have many idioms in China formed with 4 characters. For example, 一步到位 means one step you will arrive to your destination. That means to settle a matter in one go. However, if we change this way, destination, to the other way, which means stomach, it means one step directly to the stomach, and which is a perfect advertisement for selling alcohol drinks. The next one, 随心所欲, which means to follow your heart and follow your desires. If we change the desire 欲 to the other 欲, which means to shower, that means to shower as one desires, which is a perfect advertisement for the water heater. 刻不容缓, which is an idiom to tell us that it cannot be delayed at all, which tells you to take immediate action. But if we change 刻 to 咳, and 咳 in Chinese means to cough, so the whole word becomes to demand immediate action to stop coughing, and this will be a perfect advertisement for the medicine to cure coughing. Well, that's all about the homophones, and now it's time for me to introduce you guys about the modern life in China. It's not about karaoke anymore. Actually, according to the recent research, that there are less and less people are interested in karaoke, because in karaoke there are always 1 or 2 people are singing, and the music is so loud people can hardly hear and talk with each other. Instead, they are just playing with their cell phones. There's no opportunity to social anymore. Instead, we will have these new activities that can help you to social more with your friends. For example, 密室逃脱, the escape room. I think in China we really moved the escape room to the next level, because it's not just about you collect the clue and try to get out of the room. Instead, they will put a lot of staff wearing some scary clothes to try to scare you in the escape room. And the players have to put on the costumes and play a story, play a role in the escape room. And also there are a lot of sound effect and some little machines that will surprise you a lot. For example, once my cousin told me that she went to an escape room, and right after she entered a room, there are some fake heads from the ceiling drop off. That's really something I won't try to do. And also there's the 剧本杀, which is the murder mystery game. Nowadays it's very popular in China. You book this room, you go there and put on the costume. You will have a script about a murder story, and each person play a role. It will take 4 or 5 hours for you to put the story together and figure out who is the murderer. It's quite a fun activity. And there's the 桌游, the board game, such as 狼人杀, the werewolves of Miller's Hollow. This is actually a game from the Western, and we imported it in China, and it's got so popular. Or we can call it the 杀人游戏. Also in the shopping mall, there's the VR 体验馆, where they will give you the virtual reality experience. And that's also something interesting that we would like to do during our spare time. The next one will be 追剧. 追剧 means to watch the show regularly. And as you can see that when we are watching the show, here is a screen, and you see there are a lot of text flying on the screen. This text on the screen, we call it 弹幕, the bullet screen, which is the function which allows viewer to post in real-time comments on screen. And sometimes we are busy, we don't have time to social with our friends. While we were eating in front of the laptop, we can turn on this function of a bullet screen, and you will feel like that some friends next to you, and they are chatting with you about the show that you are watching. So you won't feel that lonely anymore. Speaking of the bullet screen, sometimes you can see a lot of letters floating on the screen, and you may wondering what's that about. I will give you some examples. In Chinese, 永远的神, literal translation is forever God, which means this celebrity always be the greatest of all time. And we pick out the first letter of the 4 pin, it formed to YYDS, which represents the forever God. Another example is 气死我了, which means I'm dying of anger. And we pick out the first letter of 气死我了, it will be QSWL. And XSWL means 笑死我了, I'm dying of laughter. Also, when we watch the show, sometimes there's a man, a woman on the screen. We think that they have a lot of CP 感. CP 感 means the ambiguous desire between two people. You are not sure whether they are the couple in the show, but they really give you this ambiguous love desire. So that's why many people love 磕 CP. 磕 CP means when someone desire two people to fall in love. I don't know why, but nowadays people really love to 磕 CP, and they found that this couple on the screen, to see them fall in love, it's even more happier than themselves to be in love. And because of this new phenomenon, that's why many celebrities try to 炒 CP. 炒 CP means they pretend to be in a couple in order to become popular and get more fans, and eventually it will turn into more income for them. The next one will be 直播 live streaming, and we have this 直播文化 live streaming culture. In China, the popular 直播 will be 带货直播, which is sell goods streaming. You will have a host introduce you all the products that they try to sell, and they will post a lot of discounts, coupons on the screen. Nowadays in China, it's more popular to buy products in the live streaming room, 直播间, instead of buying in a real store. This is because the host, when they talk with you, they are just like your younger brother or younger sister. It feels so friendly, and they give you a super good discounts, even more cheaper than in the store. So that's why people are really into the sell goods streaming. Also, there's the 唱跳直播, singing, dancing, streaming, or 吃播, the mukbang. No matter which type of streaming, their ultimate goal is to get money out from the viewers. Therefore, in the live streaming room, there are some new words that just for this situation. For example, 主播 is live streamer, and the 主播 always ask you, do you like it? If you like it, type 1, 扣1. If you don't like it, type 2, 扣2. And when the 主播 live streamer try to collect the money, they will beg you to 打赏, to tip, or 刷礼物, to give gift. Each gift represents a certain amount of money, or they ask you to 点赞, click like. In order to reach those goals, they will use some really cute, sweet way to address the viewers. For example, they will call the audience 宝宝们, darlings, or they will say 么么哒, which is the sound of kissing, or they can show heart-shaped gesture 比心, to tell you that they really appreciate your support. Live streamers 主播, but the influencers in Chinese is to be called 网红, and the influencers are more, it refers to the people who are popular on Weibo, the Chinese Twitter, Bilibili, or Bijan for the Chinese YouTube, or TikTok. The Chinese name is Douyin. There's also this app called 小红书, right, where people actively share their lifestyle stories. And the verb for using those apps, we call it 刷, because 刷 means to sweep with the finger. The uploader, the YouTuber, in Chinese we call them up 主, up, same as the English, 主 means the host, like 主播, which refers to the people who post 视频, the video on Bilibili, or the ones who post the 短视频, the short videos on TikTok or 快手. Another category will be the Chinese letter slang. There are some Roman letters that we used on a daily basis in Mandarin. For example, P means to beautify, and P 图 means to Photoshop. As most people already know that in China we are really into the Photoshop or the photo editing applications or the filters. Therefore, every time when you try to post a photo, someone will stop you first and tells you, 你帮我 P 一下再发. Help me Photoshop it before you post it. Or you may joking with your friend, 他的照片都是 P 的. Her photo were all photoshopped. And also there's a popular saying to be called 小 P 一下, which means do not Photoshop too much. If it's too much, everyone will see it. Just Photoshop it a little bit, so the photo will looks more natural and authentic. We call it 小 P 一下, 小 P 一下. The next one will be N, and N in Chinese represents the word 无数, countless. For example, I have told you countless times about this issue. 我告诉你 N 遍了. Or this movie I have seen too many times. 这个电影我看过 N 次了. So N is a way that when we try to express that we are a little bit tired of it, a little bit negative tone. The next one, to do karaoke in Chinese, we say K 歌, K 歌, or we can say 去唱 K, to sing the K, or 去 K 歌. Here, another example, the karaoke king, we will say K 歌王. However, PK totally means another thing. PK is short for player killing, and this word PK is got so popular from a singing competition and reality show, which in that show they will arrange two people to battle with each other with singing. Everyone start using PK after that show to express let's battle. For example, we always say 我们 PK 一下, let's fight, battle with each other. The next one is 打 call. 打 call is similar to 加油. When we talk about 打 call, immediately I will have this image in my head. A fan is dancing and waving the light, try to show his or her support to his idol. So nowadays we will say 我为你打 call, which means I'm cheers for you. Very good. We all know this type of candy. It's very soft and very chewy. And to describe this pleasant chewiness feeling, we will use the letter Q. Q 弹. So this type of candy, 这个糖口感 Q 弹, which means it has a very pleasant chewiness. This texture is really Q, very chewy. Next one will be C 位. C 位 is a word got popular from another reality show where a lot of boys and girls, they compete with other boys and girls. And in the end, they form into a singing, dancing female or male group. The people who is in the central position, C 位, which means this person got most followers supporting him or her. Therefore, everyone is try to grab C 位, 抢 C 位. They all try to be at the central place. Here in this picture is all about the famous celebrities in China. And the celebrities who standing in the C 位, we call it C 位区. Everyone try to 抢 C 位, get into this zone to show you that they are more popular than the other celebrities. Now it's time for some new technologies in China. As many of you already know that in China we rarely use cash anymore. Instead, we are using WeChat Pay, 微信支付, or 支付宝, Alipay. By using these two type of payment method, you have to scan the QR code, 扫二维码. Either you scan their QR code or they have a machine to scan your QR code. Since nowadays hardly to see any cash on the street, even the beggar has no choice but to make himself a QR code so he can ask for money on the street. And also in some big stores now they are applying this new technology called 刷脸支付, which is to do the payment by scanning the face. And one thing is super interesting is that when we try to add someone on the WeChat to add the contacts, we always say this sentence instead, which is 我扫你还是你扫我? I scan you or you scan me. I found it's quite funny, but it's so popular and everyone say this. Also, because of the pandemic, nowadays we have a 无接触餐厅, the contactless restaurant, which you will make the order by scan the QR code, 扫码点菜. And some restaurant, they have a 机器人, the robot, and they will deliver the dishes to your table. In our daily life, there are so many practical apps that we start to use their names directly to convey the meaning. For example, the food delivery app is 美团, the personal delivery app 货拉拉, and the Chinese Uber is 滴滴. Instead of calling food delivery, nowadays we will simply say 叫个美团. Instead of calling a truck to carry the goods, we will just say 叫个货拉拉. Instead of calling a taxi, we will say 叫个滴滴. And on the other side, we have those search engine websites such as Baidu. In English, people say Google it. In Chinese, we will say 百度一下. When we try to see the review of a certain restaurant, we will say 点评一下. And the 点评 is the restaurant review application. The Chinese Reddit is 知乎. If you have any question in life, 知乎一下. The movie TV series review website is 豆瓣. If you try to see the score of a movie before you watch it, just 豆瓣一下. Taobao is the shopping site. If you need to buy something online, just 淘宝一下. The next category is to give labels to people. I think in many cultures, we love labeling people. So that's in China. Here, for some male teen adult, we will call them little fresh meat, 小鲜肉. For Mr. Perfect, the label is fair skin, rich, beautiful, 白富美. For Mr. Perfect, it will be 高富帅, the tall, rich, and handsome. The second generation of rich people, 富二代. Some silly, naive, sweet girl, we will call them 傻白甜. The girls who are over 30 years old but still unmarried, we will call them leftover woman, 剩女. 宅男 is the guys who always stays at home playing online games. 绿茶婊, literal translation is green tea bitch, which means girls that seems innocent on the face, but actually very manipulative inside. 直男癌, literal translation is street man cancer. And 小三, little three, implies the mysteries. And there are also many labels here on top, such as 屌丝, loser, 渣男, jerk, the bad student, 学渣, top student, 学霸, new money, 土豪, foodie, 吃货, flower vase, someone just with a pretty face will be 花瓶, geek, 理工男. Again, maybe some labels by see the literal translation or in English, maybe you feel it's very offensive, but some, yes. But most of them are just a cute way to give a label to other people or to make fun of ourselves. It really depends on the context. It's not that bad. Now, attention please. If some of you that really easily to get offended, maybe it's better to say goodbye to you now, because the contents later, some words will be a little bit awkward since they are related to sex. For the others who are interested, please stay and let's go. Speaking of sex, in China, we barely have any sex education when we were young. Personally, my first official Chinese education class was in college, and the teacher didn't say anything. She just put a video on the screen and everyone learned from the instruction from that video. So therefore, sex is like a taboo in Chinese. We rarely talk about sex in public. And also, we won't just say to make love directly in a conversation. Instead, we will find some secret words to indicate the same meaning. For example, for having sex, in Chinese, we can say 上床, to go to bed, or 发生关系. Literal translation is to occur a relation. Or 啪啪啪, the sound to imitating having sex. Or 为爱鼓掌, applaud for love. And some people may even feel shy to say those words, so we even have a more subtle way to say the same meaning, which is 那个. 那个 is a spoken way for 那个, which is for that one, that thing. For example, 我太累了，今天晚上不能那个了, which means I'm too tired, tonight I cannot do that. Another example, 月经, which means a woman's period. It's too radical, too direct to say 月经. Therefore, we will say 大姨妈来了. The big annoying auntie is visiting. Maybe someone is getting too shy to even say the big annoying auntie. Then she can also say 我来那个了. That is visiting me. And for 手淫, to masturbate, in Chinese we will say 自慰 instead, and 自慰 means to console oneself. Or the more subtle way will be 打飞机, to shoot the airplane. Another taboo in Chinese will be the homosexuality, which is 同性恋. Literal translation is same-sex love. That sounds too formal and radical, therefore we have subtle ways to express this meaning. But firstly, I would like to introduce a very interesting story. China has over 5,000 years of history, and many emperors had same-sex partners. For example, Han Ai, which is Emperor Ai of Han Dynasty. And there's a super famous story between Emperor Ai and his favorite male companion, Dongxian. One day, Dongxian just fell asleep on the sleeves of Emperor Ai, and Emperor Ai asked someone to gently cut off his sleeves so that he wouldn't wake up Dongxian. Because of this story, therefore, 断袖, to break the sleeves, will indicate homosexuality. But nowadays, we have even more funny ways to express homosexuality. For example, 同志 used to be comrade, but now it indicates gay. Therefore, 女同志, the female comrade, which means lesbian. And we even have another cute way nickname for lesbian, which is Lala, which is derived from less of the English word lesbian. However, those words are more for gossip when we say he or she is 断袖, 同志, 女同志, or Lala. When we are trying to come out to our close friends or family, we are a little bit more shy to say those words directly. Instead, we will say 我是弯的, which means I'm bent. Another secret word that I like is for VPN. For those who lives in China, I know you know how to use VPN to serve YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Although to use VPN is not illegal in China, however, we cannot verbally promote VPN. Instead, we find a subtle way to address VPN, which is 科学上网. 科学 is science, 上网 surf the internet. 科学上网 together means a scientific way of surfing the internet, which is, I found it's very funny. Well, the time is limited. It's hardly to introduce all the new changes in Chinese Mandarin. But if you are interested to know other internet slang and more about what I introduced today, follow my YouTube channel, Chinese with Ben, where I will constantly creating more interesting videos to share with you all those Chinese insights. Thank you very much for joining today's talk. I hope you more or less learned something new in today's talk. 谢谢大家，我们下次见。